Hi guys, welcome to MacReddit, where tales are not just told, they come alive. As always, today, I have brought a very interesting Reddit story, a sauce full of spices and chilies. I hope you would enjoy it. And don't forget to show your love for MacReddit. Let's dive into the story. AITA for saying no to my husband, who expects me to help his parents whenever they need me. I, 39-year-old female, have been married to my husband, Theodore, 42-year-old male, for over 10 years. And his parents have always been a constant issue in our marriage. They have consistently asked me for help with filling out paperwork, online forms, updating their phones, and anything tech-related. I have been juggling a job, managing our household, and now our children are going to school, adding to my responsibilities. I didn't have much time and was tired of constantly assisting my husband's parents. Finally, I told my husband that his parents were in their early 60s. They are not dinosaurs. They can figure things out on their own. And that I was no longer willing to help them. If they need assistance, they should consider hiring a personal assistant. Enough is enough. Upon hearing this, my husband became very angry and said, "If you force me to choose between my parents and you, I will choose my parents and divorce you." I was already frustrated with my husband's parents, but now I am also fed up with my husband. Initially, my husband and I used to live with his parents, but when my husband's sister got married, they bought a house in another state and moved there to be midway between my husband and his sister. I felt blessed when they moved out, but my happiness was temporary because they started visiting us often and unexpectedly, which actually increased my problems. Now, they have moved near our home, doubling my tension. When his parents used to visit us unexpectedly, no heads up, telling us when they were already driving and about 5 hours away from our place, they would inform us that they were coming and planning to stay with us for 3 to 4 days. I always found this extremely annoying and weird. I told my husband that we are not a Holiday Inn and asked him to tell his parents that they must let us know in advance about their visit. It would give us a couple of days in advance so I could clean the house, I have kids, and the house gets dirty, and get their room ready. My husband always thought this was ridiculous of me and would insist it was not a big deal, but it is for me. I'm the one who had to clean the entire house, get the bed sheets washed, run to the store, and get extra food to plan lunches and dinners. Their repeated visits are not the only problem. Their behavior, particularly regarding religious matters, is unbearable. I was raised Catholic, but have stopped attending church. My in-laws were also Catholic, but converted to Christianity 15 years ago. To me, it's almost the same thing, but to them, it's completely different. Now, they are extremely religious, and their extremism is a problem for me and our children. I have questioned my faith several times and refused to bring my children up in something I don't 100% believe in. I believe in God, and my children believe in God, but I just don't believe you have to go to church to be saved and go to heaven. So, I want the same for my children, but my husband's parents don't want that. Instead, they try to make our children believe in what they do and follow their rituals. Whenever we eat together, they would make us pray before we had our meals, and put us on the spot by saying, "Okay, you pray today." Our children always found this uncomfortable, and I had to tell them that it's just something we have to deal with when they come over. Another thing is they always talked about how we need to take our kids to church and how we need to raise them to read the Bible. I was raised to respect someone's home. You don't go to someone's house, take over, and tell them how to live their lives and raise their children. I've had to sit down and listen to them ramble on and on about their beliefs, how Catholics are doing it wrong, and so on. To me, I believe to each their own. If someone wants to pray to a unicorn and it makes them happy, let them be. I would never force my beliefs and opinions onto anyone. By the way, I'm not saying God is a unicorn. I'm just simply saying you do you, boo. Who am I to judge? The burden of the demands of my husband's parents and their beliefs increased on me when they sold their home and decided to move closer to us, just 30 minutes away. The reason for their move near us is very interesting, but also ridiculous. My sister-in-law got a new job in the same state we live in, and her rented home is an hour away from ours. My husband's parents moved so that they are midway between us and their daughter. This is ridiculous, isn't it? My son calls his grandparents burger steaks because they always try to position themselves between their daughter and son, just like steaks are always between buns. After moving near our home, they don't visit us much. Instead, they call me to help them at their home, and I have been going there as an unpaid personal assistant, but no more. They have always asked me for help filling out paperwork, online paperwork, updating their phones, anything tech-related, You name it, I have had to help since day one of us getting married. Here is where I have had enough, and I have finally put my foot down and told my husband no more. I told my husband that they are his parents, and he needs to deal with them instead of throwing them at me for help. He says he is busy with work and doesn't have the time. He does have a stressful job, no doubt, but they are not my parents, my responsibility. I have my own job, and I am also the one taking care of our children and doing all of the housework. We have been arguing more and more to the point where I told him, either you tell them enough is enough, and they need to figure it out on their own, or I'm going to, but it will not be in the nicest way. I told him that his parents are trying to enslave me, like the in-laws of the Dark Ages. Otherwise, they don't need my help. I told him that his parents are in their early 60s. They are not dinosaurs. They can figure things out on their own. If they cannot, they must hire a personal assistant, and I don't want to become an unpaid one. My husband became very angry with me on this, but I stood my ground. I finally started to put up boundaries. When his mom sent me a text asking if I was available that afternoon to help them pay a bill online, I agreed to help. However, I also informed her that I'm available on a specific day. His mom then called me saying, I know you're busy, but can't you help us right now? I told her again that I was sorry, but this was the only day I was available. However, I did send her instructions on how to pay online. 3 days later, they asked me to print out paperwork for them, and if I was available. I was not, and told them I would be available the following day. They called my husband while he was at work, telling him they needed the paperwork printed ASAP. My husband got mad at me when he got home, saying, why couldn't you help them? He felt inconvenienced having to help them while he was at work and mentioned that I had a few minutes to assist them. Like, seriously? I told him, enough is enough. I can help, but I'm not an effing personal assistant. He has told me he will divorce me if I make him choose between his parents or me. I'm not making him choose. What I am saying is, they are not my problem. I am not responsible for them. It's his and his siblings' responsibility to help them. Am I the jerk? OP is not a jerk here. She is not obliged to help her husband's parents, particularly to the level of a personal assistant. It is on her husband to deal with his parents. Instead, OP's parents-in-law are AH, big AH, for being so dependent on their daughter-in-law. I believe they are still in the Dark Ages. They are weird people. However, I must say that OP is wrong when she proudly tells what her son says about his grandparents. This is wrong, I believe. The best way to raise children is to teach them to disagree, but not disrespect anyone. This is my point. What do the lovers of MacReddit think, whether the OP is AH or not? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like the stories we brought you, just hit the like button, share them as much as you can, and don't forget to subscribe to MacReddit for a daily dose. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow, some more spicy fries.